Welcome to Algebra 1, Semester 2, Unit 8A. This is on polynomial operations. On page 1, you'll see the pacing guide. You'll notice we only have 2 videos in this section. It's a very short section, so the exam will be a fairly short quiz. The first thing that I want to make sure and go over is playing the X game. If you haven't been in class, you haven't seen this, but please come to class. We'd like to go over it and play this game with you. Let me just give you a sample of what it might be. Let's say I give you a 6 here and a -5 here. What you're looking for in this game is 2 numbers to fill in here that will multiply to be +6 and add to be a -5. Well, in order to multiply and get a +6, they have to have the same sign. In order to add and be a negative, they must be negative numbers. Now we take all the factors of 6 and we come to the conclusion that out of those factors, 2 and 3 would add to be 5. Now let's say that that was a +6 with a +5. Now they would simply be a +2 and 3. Well, now let's turn the table slightly and say that it's a -6. And let's say a -1. What happens here, because this is a -6 and they're multiplying to make -6, one has to be positive and one needs to be negative. If one's positive and one's negative, that means you are subtracting them in order to get that -1, or looking at the difference. So the larger number would have to have a negative where they end up having the negative answer when they're added together. So looking at the factors 2 and 3 again, 3 would have to be your negative to your positive. So the other way that that could look was if we had a +1 and a -6. Now realize all of these numbers I am just making up. There's no way for you to necessarily get those unless I give you these 2. We could do that on the next draw. So it's a -6 again. We need a positive and a negative. In order to end up with a +1 of their difference, the larger one needs to be positive. So this time 3 would be positive, 2 would be negative. Okay. Another option. Let's see if you can figure out these 2 numbers. Pause the video to get them. Let's say that we have a -6 this time, but our answer is, let's go 5. Well, in order to get that, we would look at all of our factors of -6. We've got 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. They need to have a difference of 5 because this is a -6, so that's a positive and a negative. Difference of 5 would be your 6 and 1. 6 would be positive since it's larger, farther from 0, and that's positive. So there we go. Go ahead and fill in the answers for this row. Let me just go ahead and give you this row and then check them when you come to class. We have 8, and let's go -9. Let's go 12 and 7. Go 24 and 14. Go a -24 and -5. And let's go a -12 and -1. So fill those in and bring your answers in when you come to class, and let's check those. Okay, this is section 9.1 and 9.2 of Algebra 1, Semester 2, Unit 8A. First thing we look at is how to classify and name polynomials. If we have a monomial, the number of terms is 1. Now, you count the terms located between addition and subtraction signs. So let me skip down to binomial. If we have 2 terms, that means they're separated by either a plus or a minus. I'm going to use a plus on this one. And now I can come up with any two terms, but they can't have plus or minus out here in them. The only plus is right here. So I could have, let's say, 3x squared and 3x. Now, those couldn't be 3x squared and 3x squared, because if they were like terms, would simplify, and then would end up with a monomial. A monomial looks like this, 5mp to the third. There's no plus or minuses there. Here we have one plus. Trinomial, well, that means that we would have three terms. So that means we would have three separated terms. How many add or subtract signs? Well, we need one here and one here. So let's make one a plus, one a minus. You can make anything up as long as they're not like terms. So we could have 5m 4p 3x. You could have just about anything there. A four-term polynomial, again, you've got four terms in here separated by addition and subtraction signs. Let's just randomly put some in, a plus, a minus, a plus. That'll do it. Let's go x cubed, x squared, x, and 5. And there we have a four-term. Make sure and memorize the names for these. Monomial is 1, binomial is 2, trinomial is 3, and we just go with 4-term, 5-term, and so on to describe the rest. But it is essential that you know these, because when we discuss things on the board, I might ask something about a binomial and you need to know what I'm talking about. Always simplify the binomial, always simplify the polynomial before naming it. The terms should be put in order from the highest exponents to the lowest. Just like this example that I gave you here. That's written in standard form. That's what you always want to shoot for. Each term must be a monomial. Each of the terms in between the addition and subtraction should be a monomial. Then look at the leading term to classify the degree of the polynomial. Well, let's do this on the next page. On page 3, we check and we see, are these written in descending order? Well, the first one has the exponents 2 and 2. The next one has the exponent 1 and 2. So the greatest exponents are in that first term, so it is written in proper order. The leading term is 1/2 x squared y squared. To get the degree, you simply add up the exponents on the variables. So that would be 2 plus 2. It is a fourth degree. Now, in the full name of that, what you would do is you would say what degree it is, fourth degree, and then count your terms. There's 2, so it would be a fourth degree binomial. Okay? Next one. This is not a polynomial because x is on the bottom. That's a rational expression. In the next one, we notice that they're a little bit out of order. We have 1 and 1 here and 1 and 2 there, so we use commutative property and we reorder those. Now we see the leading coefficient is that x to the first y squared, so that's a third degree. Third degree binomial because there were 2 terms. In this one, this is not a polynomial. That's an exponential expression because the x is in the exponent. Okay. Now we're going to add polynomials or subtract them. All that you do is you line up your like terms. I have 3m squared. I don't have, 3m cubed. I don't have any m squareds in that one, but I see that I do in this one over here. So I'll leave some space in order to line that one up. Then I have 2m plus 1. Now I bring these down and just write them directly underneath where they line up with like terms. We have a plus 4m squared minus 3m and a plus 1. Add these terms, we get 3m cubed plus 4m squared. A positive 2 and a negative 3 would make a negative m, plus 1 and 1 is 2. There's your final answer. Next problem. You go ahead and do this one. I'm running a little bit low on my tape room, so go ahead and do that one and check it in class, see if you have the correct answer. I want to skip down to the subtraction problems here because there's one thing that you need to do on these. Go ahead and write the first polynomial as it is given. On the second polynomial, you need to multiply that negative by each of these, so you change their signs as you write them down. Negative x squared, a negative 2, and now you add them. So we get 2x squared plus 3. On this one, you'd write down the first term, a negative 3z plus 6. Now change these signs as you write them in. So we have a negative 4z squared. That is a negative 7z squared. So we change the sign, make it a positive 7z. I'm sorry, it's not squared. It's a negative 8. We change the sign, so it's a positive 8. Now we add them. Negative 4z squared. 7 and negative 3 is a positive 4z. And 8 and 6 is positive 14. So that is a second degree trinomial. Okay, the last little section here. On the bottom of page 3, we simply want you to multiply. In this case, you're distributing. So you're going to take 4x times x, 4x times negative 3. So that would be 4x squared minus 12x. Here, you're going to multiply. When you multiply your terms, 12x. Now add your exponents to the sixth. Remember, we add exponents when we multiply those terms. Minus 8, 4 times negative 2, x to the first, and x squared would be x cubed. 4x squared times a positive 7 would be 28x squared. Go ahead and do that third one on your own. Check with me when you come to class. The last section of this part is multiplying binomials. We do this by a method called FOIL, or you can do it by the box method. With FOIL, F stands for first, so we multiply the first two terms. So we get x times 3x would be 3x squared. We multiply the outside, the very outside terms would be x times 4 would be plus 4x. Then we multiply the inside terms.